And here we are. Welcome along to the Lord of the Imps live stream. Hello, it's Entmoot Live. We're back here on the YouTubes for a special once in a year annual trip to Lord of the Imps, which is, of course, my tournament that I run here in Lincoln. And we're very excited because it's happening in a few weeks' time. And we decided to do a little bit of preview. And when I say preview, and then when I say we, I mean me. That's me, Harry, hi. And also this guy, it's Tim. Tim Elwes, welcome along to the screen.
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
Good job, the audio is working, excellent. And I won't make any mention or reference to your get-up because that's just the sort of thing that you do. So you are, let's be clear, you are not Danish.
I'm Danish by association.
Exactly. Well, Tim, if you've ever been to Lord of the Imps, my tournament before, then you will know that Tim is the man behind the wizardry on Longshanks and other such things, and he does lots of prodding and encouraging people to come along to the tournament, which is all very much appreciated. And we're very excited because this is, I think, the first time we've done this, Tim. Is that right?
Yes, it's the first live one I've done. I've never been invited, to be honest. Otherwise, it would probably be my fifth or sixth.
Well, it's because you're always on the podcast anyway. So I think the live streams are reserved for people who are very rarely on the podcast. But this is your special moment. So I figure let's get you on. We'll do it. We'll even do this, which you should be able to see in a second. There you go, Lord of the Imps.
Brilliant! That's very exciting. Is that going to have all like the messages scroll across as well, or?
Yeah, that's right. If there's anything that we disagree with, we'll put that on. So if you're in the chat, I know it was a relatively sudden thing because we're waiting on lists to arrive. I was hoping to do this on Sunday, last Sunday, and I thought I might be able to give a week's notice. But you naughty people, you didn't bloody send your lists in, did you? Oh, some of you didn't anyway. There was about, I think, 20 or something like that late on the day of review, which was very sad. We had to get the carrot and the stick involved, but we did eventually get some people with the lists. So with that all in mind, I'll give you a vague idea, including you, Tim, what we're going to do this evening. We're going to run through some of the kind of highlights as we see them. And Tim has chosen some lists. I've chosen some lists that we would like to shine a light on for Lord of the Imps. And we'll also have a look at some stats. But it's worth noting, we won't be doing this in the uber competitive manner of some other YouTubers, particularly the Golems Gamers, because the Golems Gamers are going to be doing their very own live stream. Well, not live stream. I don't think they do it live, but they're going to be doing a video where they'll be sort of really analysing some of the lists and picking apart and doing all the competitive chatter.
We are not doing that.
No, we are not. I think, frankly, we're not capable of doing that. So, what is that?
It's a bit of fluff. In the real world, when I'm not virtually in front of this Danish castle, I'm supposed to be getting ready for my first day of my new sort of job tomorrow. So I've had a haircut, and as such, the fluff from my Danish bandana has got stuck to my.
Your head is like a Velcro right now.
You'd think. I mean, I have got all of life's essentials with me for tonight's excitement, but because I've got the blue screen, the green screen on the background, I think if I hold up this pint of beer, it might.
Oh, it's a magic pint of beer.
It only appears when it goes really close to me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's quite dark beer as well. What is that?
That is. Oh look, that's rubbish.
I saw a flash of it. It was the Guinness West Indian
Guinness.
Porter.
It's a Guinness. I don't know if I can make my lovely Danish castle disappear as well. But yeah, I have got life's essentials with me tonight.
You know what? I'm annoyed because I was busy saving images and all this sort of stuff into the thing. So I have a very disappointing fifth of a pint of water for this live stream. What is that? That's shiny.
Oh, sorry. That's a Nations Cup prize, Harry.
Really? Yeah. How did you get that? Go on. Let's indulge you.
Oh no. You know, I've turned down many interview requests about the huge haul of trophies that Team Denmark. Oh, thank you very much. I haven't paid anyone to say any of this, by the way, but yeah,
Sure.
Team Denmark did particularly well in the Nations Cup, which was a fantastic event, and we did bring home just a few prizes. So
well done. Well done. Anyway, let's get stuck in. I'll say some hellos first before we start explaining what Lord of the Imps is and all that sort of stuff. David says we loved him. That was a very first comment, so that was before you even appeared. In fact, that was 2 hours ago. No, sorry, 1 hour. 1 hour ago. 1 hour ago.
It's the time delay.
Yeah, maybe that's that. Jamie Ailano, I'll get used to it over the course of the weekend. I know he's coming to the event. Super excited for this. Nearly completed my first proper attempt at a display board. Looking forward to seeing it. Nathan Talbot's in. Good evening, all. Also, jacket potatoes with curry on. Yes, that's one of the big features of Lord of the Imps. They are back this year. There was a bit of a testy moment where they said, "Oh, I'm afraid we can't do it anymore," and I panicked. But we have managed to negotiate with them, and they will be there. Although the lunchtime will be jiggled around. If you are coming, do have a look at the email that I've sent out to people. Darren Warner says, good evening all. James Wilson says, evening everyone. Rick119 says, evening chums. Nick Taylor says, hello everyone. Sat down with a small pile of shame, a paintbrush, some paints, and a bottle of red wine. Wow. I wonder how the dotting of the I's will go after you've had the bottle of red wine. That's the question. Sam Palmer of Forge Master Miniatures says, hello. Nathan says they're running late. Tim will be wiping. Yes, indeed. It was Tim, and I can't confirm whether he was wiping or not. But iWing says, God afton. David Mars says, just snap the leg off. Oh, no, Aona's horse. Guess what I'll be spending the next hour doing? Crying, yeah. Phoning GW and explaining to them that it came broken. Nick Taylor says, whoops. Nathan says, but you're not running it this year. I sort of am, but we'll get to that in a second. Nathan, Team Denmark, yes. Oh my God, an international guest. Harry with that BBC funding. Fohammer Watcher. Iwing says, Vi elsker dig Tim. Was that good? Do you think that was all right? Vi elsker dig Tim. Is that all right?
Don't know what it means. All right. The trickiness is in that some of these letters at the end you don't quite pronounce. It's a little bit random.
Okay, interesting.
But we'll save that for February. A little mini segue. I'm led to believe that a few of the Team Denmark players are coming over or planning to come over to the GP in February.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant. So I'd love to see that.
I will be representing both the Fellow Buddies and Team Denmark.
Excellent.
With some kind of crossover. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it'll be something drunken and spectacular.
Well, drunken and spectacular sounds perfect. In fact, it's funny enough, and this genuinely wasn't planned, but there is a link in the description to the 7th City GP tickets. So, and if you buy them via there, then you get, I think the Entmoot gains £1 or thereabouts. So that's very exciting. So if you do that, then please do that. And I will be sure to spend it on something pointless and frivolous. Nathan says, early guess, 40-ish grey hairs day one. Interesting. So we'll get into that in a second. I'll bring that back. Beat rotten meat, says Nick Taylor. Interesting. Beats, yeah. We're certainly coming to GP. Woo, Iring and in David, indeed. So that's cool. So Nathan has hinted at the earliest convenience about the format of Lord of the Imps. So for those of you who aren't coming to Lord of the Imps, this is my tournament in October. It's only a few weeks away now, and it will the sort of main thing about my tournament is that on day one you have one army where you have a leader, of course, and then you have a lieutenant who is the second highest tier hero in your army list. And you play this year 4 games over the course of day one with the leader and lieutenant in action. And then over the course of the evening of frivolity, the king, the leader, is removed from play, including their warband. And then you have to replace them with other such models from your army list, or to make a perfectly legal army list by day 2. And day 2, your lieutenant is the leader. So it provides the option for unusual things. There are some restrictions, including you can't have add any heroes that are of a higher tier than lieutenant and all this sort of stuff, which means create some interesting list building opportunities. And one which has been a regular over the years has been Gwaihir has been thrown in there. And in fact, it was getting so popular, I decided to reduce the number of points in order to try and reduce the number of Gwaihirs and Witch Kings. And Tim, before we get to the data, do you think that will have worked?
Yes. So I have never won an imp And part of the excitement of a Lord of the Imps format has been that we know the majority of the scenarios in advance, and there are certain advantages of building your list in a way that you at least have a half decent sized choppy hero for day 2. So
yes, that's
having something speedy to get the imp so I don't get one again is a popular choice. Segueing into having a fairly decent biffer on day 2 is another part of the list building fun that normal people would do. That's not the way I build my lists, which is perhaps why I haven't got an imp yet. But I don't know.
Well, it's also just to help that you're not playing most years either. You're just sort of not hanging about. You're doing lots of important stuff, so you struggle to win an imp because of that. And
no,
to be fair,
I have played round 1 for the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh yeah,
and
because
I've
you
never
keep
won an
covering.
imp.
That sucks.
Why.
Well,
but it's more that I don't quite know what the list, because I haven't checked many of the lists this year, so I'm not really sure what's going to come up. I kind of would hazard a little guess that maybe with the points drop we might see a Spider Queen or 2. Not really sure. There'll definitely be some Gweihirs, absolutely. I even made a picture of it on the Facebook.
You did indeed. So what I'll do, it's just struggling to upload it. Here we go. What I'm going to do is have a quick glance at last year's charts for to show some context. So last year, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 850 points.
805 points last year.
805. That's right, 805. And we had this pie chart of excitingness for lists. So you can see here on the left. That Denethor was actually the most popular leader last year on day 1, and this is because Denethor has to be the leader. So he's he is an exception to the rule that you can have, say, Denethor and Boromir, Captain of the White Tower, and then you can move into Boromir for the second day. So he was the most popular, and I believe looking at it, the Witch King was second, and then Gwaihir was drawn in third alongside the Necromancer, Gandalf the Grey, Saruman. And Galadriel, I believe. So Gwaihir was quite popular, but either way, Denethor was the biggest guy last year. Suladan made some appearances. The Moment War Leader made a dramatic number of appearances, which is exciting, but not quite as many as you'd hope. But then and then a day count of leader day 2 looked a bit like this. So you can first tell from the different colours that there was a huge variety of people that it turned into on day 2. But the most popular 2 were Boromir, Captain of the White Tower, yes, and Aragorn, Strider. So those are the 2 most popular last year. So does that change what you think could be the case this year, or do you think it's going to be similar?
The Denethor Boromir has been a popular choice for quite a few years, going into day 1, day 2. I had to nip back to that previous slide and say whoever took the Golden King for their leader day 2, they win all the Freddos. There's no messing about.
I want to guess
this is the way that this list discussion will go. That was the best list. They should have won. They won my hearts and minds. But yeah, I think I'm fairly sure there'll be a good few of the Denethor Boromir combinations this year. I still think there'll be a few Gweihirs because it's a sensible model to take.
Yep. And it's worth noting it is a GBHL 100, so it's a competitive list, a competitive tournament, and it's later on in the year, so people who are keen to win the league.
There are fewer hundreds left in the year. And also, this is 100 that has 80 players who are definitely coming. So even those second and third places are going to be worth relatively good chunks of points compared to hundreds that have fewer players, I suppose, if you're not going to be coming in that top 2 or 3.
Indeed. So with that in mind, it's worth noting Andrew Viney, I believe, is the person who had the Golden King, and he did win, I believe, the Judges' Choice Army last year. Didn't I think? I think, yeah. Well,
whoever those judges were, they are definitely got their fingers on the pulse.
Exactly, and that was us too, I believe. So let's have a look now at the day 1 leaders, and I haven't done it as a pie chart this year because I think it might be easier to see in this way. So here we go. So you can't quite see the names probably on there, but you can certainly see some spikes here. So right there at the top is alerts, is one of the leftmost thingy with 6 leaders alerts on day 1, and the other top spike is Gwaihir. So we've got two in drawing there as the leaders for day 1 are Gwaihir and Alerts, which I think is interesting because Alerts is making sort of a comeback.
The Alerts, I'm guessing, will be like a day 1 Lurtis Scouts, day 2 Ugluk Scouts, something like that, to minimize the number of models people have to bring. And it's a solid choice, good model count, decent speed. It's more a question for me of who the lieutenant are going to be in those Gwaihir lists, because that's going to make a difference to whether we're going to see a similar day 1 and day 2 from all this. So I'm going to look at, so there's 4 Denethors there, and if I was a gambling man, I'd say that means that they're going to have 4 Boromirs with them. And another one worth noting is those 4 Math Saurons. I think that's quite exciting.
Yes, that is true. Well, I can reveal now that the Gwaihirs, there are 4 of which are teaming up with Theoden, and 1 is with Elrond and 1 is with Gil-galad. So,
nice.
So that I don't have the data for all of those.
That's very exciting, because I do believe that I have put a Caramel Freddo prize for anyone who brings Elrond day 1 and day 2. So that could be someone fishing for the goodies.
Yeah, well, there you go. So that's the first one. So, but let's, before we move on to day 2 leaders, there's some spicy leaders in here as well. I think there's Elisar, which is cool. So there's 1 Elisar there. There's a Thror. There's a Galadriel, which has really dropped down the list compared to last year, but there's some real spice in there. If you can see it, if your screen is high def enough, you can see that there's 2 Sharkies, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And we can talk about that in a bit more detail in a bit. There's also an Aranath, who is the new ranger hero from Arnor, so that's pretty cool. So we'll get to see some new Arnor stuff later on. There's also 2 Kings of Men, which is very cool. There's a Dark Marshal. There's also a Blackguard of Barad-dûr captain.
Oh, that's very nice, isn't it?
Yes, which is very cool. So, so there's actually some, there's some unusual stuff. Which, again, this is probably one of my favorite things about this this list is that. This format is that you get some really unusual leaders, certainly for day 1, and of course the day 2 leaders are a little bit more conventional usually. But is that going to be the case? So you bet. How many did you say Boromir are going to be?
Anyone that's got a Denethor, I'm going to say they've got a Boromir with the Denethor. Whether they have potentially you could have had a Denethor, Boromir, and a 3rd hero.
Yeah, could do.
But I'm not sure. I'm going to guess there's going to be 4 Boromir White Towers. And they're not really very exciting. If they I probably wouldn't want to feature them as like a list review. I mean, it's a good solid list, but it doesn't tick the boxes for me.
Not for us. That might be the sort of thing that the Gollum's gamers do. As this is a strong list kind of vibe. Now, just before I reveal this, I might be a bit late for this, but if drop in your the comments below what you think leaders are, the sort of leaders we're going to see on day 2 are. I see some people have put some quotes in already. So, what do you think are going to be the most popular leaders on day 2, considering those restrictions we've mentioned already? Sam Palmer says, I bet we'll see a bunch of Witch Kings still, but not a lot of Gullivars. So before we go back to that, where is day 1 leaders?
Day 1 Witch King.
Was it just the 1 Witch King? Is that right? Where is it? No. There's 5 Witch Kings.
Hold on.
Witch King on twice.
You've allocated a Witch King next to the King of Men.
So I have. Sorry, that's because there's a space between the Witch King. Hold on. How have I spelled that? I don't know why. They're spelled exactly the same, but one of them's got a capital K. So anyway, there are 6. So it's a draw between Gwaihir, Lurtz, and the Witch King. So sorry, we should have well noticed. I didn't see the other one sneaking over there. But what was the so there are no Gullivars. Well, actually, no, there isn't usually any Gullivars. Gullivars makes an appearance on day 2 usually.
I'm not really surprised at that. I mean, it's fairly expensive at 500 and odd points, isn't it? And
to have a Witch King and a Gullivar.
And also they're pretty easy to shoot with your elven bows now. So
that is true.
maybe
That is
not a
true.
problem.
Other things. David says, "What's up with the Freddos for us ignorant newbies?" There's a long-standing tradition in the Great British Hobbit League of Freddos. They're a small chocolate bar that's in the shape of a frog, and I believe the reference comes from the YouTubers, the GBHL podcast YouTube channel, way back in the day, saying about the rising cost of Smaugs and how many Freddos it was worth, and then therefore how many Freddos it rose to, and how many buy, because they used to be 10p Freddos, but they're not 10p anymore. Iwing also says non-Brits, that is. Nathan's saying nice variety of lists. Day one Blackguard captain is very cool. Question: Sharky day one drops to who? Well, we'll find out in a second. Sam Palmer says Blackguard captain as leader. Interesting. Goblin Boss, aka Andy, says Tim. Sam Palmer says day two Uglick and Boromir will be quite common. Yes, I think that's a fair assessment. Sam, there's a few. There will be a few people commenting a bit late because let's just move on to those leaders now. But if you feel free to put your comments in now. What do you think? What would your predictions for day two leader be? Let's have a look at day two leaders. And you know what is most interesting here? Look at this. So number one on the list there. Can you see that? That is Gothmog.
Now that's quite exciting because my child is playing at Lord of the Imps this year, and he has got a day two Gothmog leader.
He does.
And I helped craft his list, so that's a really good choice, and a sensible choice, really, as well, isn't it? Got the Master of Battle, pretty solid for 150 points. I like it.
Absolutely. Now, there's a thing here that I'm not quite sure. I've got two Boromirs. I've got Boromir Captain and I've got Boromir. I have a feeling that Boromir might be in the Boromir Captain aisle because I don't.
No, it's not. I seem to think that I checked that list and I think that is a Fellowship Boromir.
Right. Okay. Well, yes. Yes. I think is that the unusual one. There was quite an unusual. Anyway, if that's the case, either way, there's a couple of Boromirs kicking about on day two, but nowhere near as many as I thought there would be. So the big obvious second place there is Ugluk and Theoden. So as we were mentioning a few seconds ago, the Lurtz being the leader on day one, there's a lot of Ugluks kicking about. It seems like a fairly obvious assumption that Ugluk is teaming up with those Lurtzes, and that and I can reveal, and we'll confirm this in a second, that there are quite a few Ugluk scouts and Lurtzer scouts kicking about. I believe it's.
I mean, the Shagrats, are they Kirith Ungol day twos? I'm not really.
Well, I don't think that there were many. I mean, again, I haven't got all the data to hand in a viewable format, but I've only got one Kirith Ungol. In fact, yes, I'm the Blackguard of Barad-dûr captain turned into the Kirith Ungol Legendary Legion. So that's a pretty cool list. I think I might have got a picture of that. I might have downloaded that one, or maybe I didn't have enough time. We'll have a look in a second. But it's certainly one of my favorites.
There are some cool ones there, aren't there? There's ones you want to see. I mean, Theoden's a solid choice. They'll be like Gwayr Theoden's for the Legion day two.
Yeah.
Gothmogs. I'm guessing a few of those. Mouth of Sauron's going to segue into Gothmogs, and that's a solid build as well. Look at me. I'm talking like I know what I'm actually doing. In reality, the one I want to see is Faramir day two, because
Yes, there is a couple of Faramirs. Is it just one? Is it just one?
I'm hoping that Faramir is going to be with a Boromir day one as well, because I love to see that sort of interplay.
Well, that is one that you. That is one that you mentioned, so we will see that list in a bit. It is worth noting, and I think Nathan's pointed this out, that Meriadoc, Captain of the Shire, is there twice, but there's a comma separating Meriadoc, so he appears twice. So there's one right on the right and one on the left. So apologies, I did rush through this, and it was all just down to formatting. So the other thing of note, I think, here is remember we had two Sharkies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's only one Sid Briarthorn. Now that list, ladies and gentlemen, is a cracking list. I must say, it is very unusual because you'll know, of course, Tim, that Sharky is the cheapest, I believe, or certainly one of the cheapest heroes of legend in the game. So how will you work that into a list? It's very fascinating. So that's a pretty cool factoid. But yeah, the big thing here is Gothmog, and I was kind of surprised by that because I guess Gothmog's handy at low points because you've got a lot of Master of Battle, so you've got a lot of might. He's a decent biffer. Maybe people were expecting to see a lot of Arnor, which really hasn't happened because of
it's
the low
sneaking in
points.
as well. Gothmog's been sneaking in over the years. Over the last year, I've seen a lot more Gothmogs with kind of like a Witch King Math of Sauron Gothmog, or a Witch King Math of Sauron Shagrat, those sort of double caster Mordor lists. And I think Gothmog's got a lot going for him, really, especially if you're going to get a chance of fighting some men.
Now, one thing we haven't mentioned so far is that the tournament. You mentioned the scenarios are listed in advance, and quite excitingly, Contest of Champions is the first scenario on day 2. So that makes for some interesting questions about why you might have certain things. So obviously Gothmog not bad, Ugluk not bad at fights. Ratabi looking very handy. Thimble the fighter, the hunter, sorry, is there 3 times. Halbarad is there 3 times, which I think is interesting because that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think I've seen any of those what they look like, but that was exciting. That stuck out to me.
Yeah, 3 Halbarad as ace. Shagrat 3 times, of course, he's a really strong choice for day 2. But some really left field choices as well for day 2 leaders if you want to play Contest of Champions. Because, well, first of all, there's 2 Meriadic Captains of the Shire, which is something. There's Peregrine, Captain of the Shire as well, which is even more strange. And there's also, I believe, a Captain of Rohan. There's a Captain of Dale. And there's some other stranger ones. The Tainted is in there as well.
I think that at some point over the last 10 weeks, I did mention that there would be a Caramel Freddo available for something to do with the best performing Mary or Pippin. So you can see where folk have got their
inspiration. Well, I'm glad
after the Freddos. And
I mean,
just to help David out, I have sent him a Freddo meme I made a few years ago, so that might help.
What I mean, if looking at that list of fighters in Contest of Champions, are there any that you think are surely going to be the best fighter on the tabletop? In fact, I've just noticed another error. There's 2 Mordor Troll Chieftains. I've put 1 Mordor Troll Chieftain and 1 Troll Chieftain. I was going to say he's probably one of the best shots at Contest of Champions, but with the big base size, it could be a bit tricky. But he's pretty good. King of the Dead's pretty good. You don't want to fight Beachbone head on. He's pretty solid. Yeah, but there's some other lesser ones. Your Tariels maybe. You're not so great. Dane.
I mean, I suppose the thing to think about is that this is a 7-game tournament this year, so. Losing Contest of Champions does not necessarily put you entirely in the bin. So I'm not sure. Are we down for like a recon or some other?
There is capture the. Sorry, on day 1 there is a seize the camp. What's the camp one called? Storm the camp.
Brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
But
day 2
it could be that out of 7 scenarios, you just say, well, if everyone is looking to put a biffer in for Contest of Champions, then forget about it. I'll not even think about Contest of Champions, and I'll just go for huge numbers of bodies. So these hobbity lists, big numbers of tough orcs and things like that, you might just be able to say, look, I'm after I can win this for 6 wins and a loss. I'll just forget about having a smashing hero.
I did think that, but I sort of thought the obvious answer to that would be the Arnor heroes. Trying to lean into Arnor day 2, where you can try and prevent people killing your warriors on day 2 with an Arvadui Malbeth bubble. And there is one Arvadui, but there's not 2. So I thought that's quite fascinating. So Nathan says, I thought we'd see more mouths into Troll Chiefs. There are 2 Troll Chiefs, but not loads, but some really cool stuff. I guess that's...
So none of these are a list that I would take, which is like a tad bit disappointing, but what can you do?
Well, there you go. And also, the thing I've tried to encourage in the past was people taking Suladan into the Mummock War Leader. I thought that we might get one person with a Mummock War Leader just allied in with Suladan on day 1, but no, we didn't get that, so that's a bit of a shame. But hey ho, these things happen. So that is the day 2 leaders matrix. I will show you some day 1 and day 2 matrices. Day 2 and day 1 leaders. Now we're going to look at them into the matrix. So this is the sort of ratio of army kinds. So
Oh,
we've got
this is very high tech, then, isn't it?
yeah. So we've got
Okay.
whether we're good or evil, or sorry. So whether we're green alliances, yellow alliances, legendary legions, or pure armies. Tim, what's your instinct? What do you think we're going to see the most of here?
Sorry, I was drinking the beer then.
That's it. It was a great advert for Guinness. What do you think we're going to see the most of as regards sort of pure green, yellow, red, legendary legions?
I don't think we'll see many red, if any. I don't think we'll see many yellow unless they're deliberately going yellow to segue into something ace on day 2 or they're forced start day 1. I'm going to say we're going to see a lot of green allies into a legendary legion.
Interesting. Here we go. Let's have a look. So it's fairly easy to look at. So pure is in orange at the bottom. A big chunk, 40% of the lists are pure. So that's the biggest chunk. Then we've got legendary legions, 27.5%. You do the maths on 80 lists as to what this breaks down as. I have no idea, but it's just under a third. So what's that? I don't know, 15, 20? I don't know. No, it'll be more than that, won't it? Sorry, it'll be sort of getting on for 25. And then there's Green Alliance. So that's number 3 there. Then there's Yellow Alliance. In yellow, obviously, and then in a slither,
brilliant.
One single red alliance. Now,
does that mean we get to see that list? Because that's the sort of criteria that gets your list shown on a show like this, doesn't it? Who did that? What is the list?
It sort of is. Well, I don't actually have it. I didn't get around to loading it, but I will get it up in a second. But I guess first of all, can you work out what you think it might be? I guess. What do you think? Any ideas?
I haven't got a clue. Maybe it's the one with one of those sharkies in. Maybe it's like
you see, you've hit the nail bang onto the head there. So that's very well done. Actually, I'm quite impressed with that. So Sharky, of course, is a hero of legend. So he's just, if you ally him into something, which frankly there's not a lot that you can ally him into, you do end up with some interesting stuff. So I'll get that list up in a second. But first, I want to show off I've lost my tabs now. First, I want to show off the day 2 matrix, which is this one. So as you can see there, I mean, reflect on that. Yeah,
no expense spared here at all.
Well, please do give us an analysis there. Over 50% are pure armies on day 2.
Yeah, that seems sensible, doesn't it? Everyone has looked at their day 2 options. That's the one they really want to bring, and they've gone for it. The day 1 is kind of like a how can I get to my day 2, which is quite funny because is there 4 games day 1, 3 games day 2?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I'd be going for the win all my 4 games day 1, going out for a massive bender on Saturday night, and then maybe turning up by lunchtime.
Yeah, that is the interesting one. So I mean, I think this is quite heartwarming actually, because we've got no red alliances obviously, but clearly the lack of yellow alliances is really lovely. I really like that, because obviously we have quite a lot on day 1, but that to me implies that people want to they're competitive players or whatever. But the nature of the tournament is kind of forcing your hand into trying to run something maybe yellow on day 1 and then having to run something pure on day 2. What do you think?
There's 2 ways of looking at it really. There are, because this has been a fairly long running tournament format now, there are those folks who'll try quite hard to have a very distinct army day 1 and then almost segue into something quite different day 2.
Yeah.
Or you'll get what's a fairly consistent army day 1 and day 2 with essentially just the leader dropping and something very similar coming into its place. And actually the format of a list doesn't massively change between the 2 days.
Yeah, in fact, I had to actively ban people from doing the whole, Mahud King into a Mahud King and day 2 and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just like a leader dropping day 1 and then adding a captain from the same faction and a few dudes. It's not like mega exciting. But again, we've all got lives and we've got time. We've got to actually get all this stuff painted, Nathan. So you can only do what you can do. But when it comes to the list that I've picked out that I'm quite excited by, it's the ones that start on something day 1 and then whoa, it's something really different day 2.
Yeah, I think those are the most the most creative ones are like that, and that is always good fun to see. So I think that is a perfect segue into the Red Alliance list.
Lovely.
So this is super spicy. Oh well, just have a quick look at the comments. There's only a couple that have just popped in. Oh yeah, we've had quite a few. So got to represent my boy Halbarad. That's good from Rick. Yeah, it's really, really great to see a few Halbarads. Personally, I'm glad there's not much Arnor, says Sam. Red Alliance, is that Sharky? That's an interesting question. Just tuned in. What's happening? What have I missed? Frederick, if you're just tuning in, we're analysing some of the army lists that have come into Lord of the Imps, my tournament I run every year. And the general format is that the leader on day one dies and they're replaced by a lieutenant that has to be present on day two. And so you have this kind of dynamic of big hero, and you have to try and work it into Contest of Champions starting day one. The first scenario in day two. So you've got to try and figure out whether you need a big biffer for day two to do well in that scenario. So that's interesting. Frederick says that. Nathan says, called out. I'm painting right now. There you go. What are you painting, Nathan? Let us know. In fact, it might reveal what your list is. So let's have a quick look at this Red Alliance then. So we had a Red Alliance 1 on day 1. So here it is. Here we go. Look at that. Sharky and Worm, 60 points, alongside Azog. On the white log. 12 Gundabad Berserkers, 2 bats, and a banner, shield, and spear holder. What do you think?
I mean, you've got to remember that the format of what we're doing here is that we're not calling out lists that we think, are suboptimal that we could tweak to make them better. It's literally
absolutely not.
Look at that, 12 Gundabad Berserkers. What a bad boy. That's either going to do some work, or it's going to very definitely not do some work. Sharky and Worm, then you might not even see them. They might be hitting a building for the entire game. I don't know.
I think it's, I think it's awesome. And you know what? Yeah, as you say, a strange list aside, it doesn't really matter to me. I like the idea that Sharky and Worm, they're just, as you say, either standing at the back doing nothing while Azog and the Gundabads just do the work. But then, of course, you're paying 60 points down. But you do have a Sharky who is your leader, who is basically hiding from.
He can do a little bit of like magic-y stuff, can't he?
Yeah, he's got I think 4 points of will and a 2+ immobilize, which is pretty handy. So
when I was looking for ways that I could definitely win an imp or something like that, I seriously considered an Azog signal tower list, and I'm not sure if there is one or not, but if anyone has brought one, I will buy them a pint.
Sadly, no signal tower. Yeah, which is a shame because nobody has yet. I haven't had to decide on the how it operates because there's a lot of confusion.
If I bring one and then you deliberately decide it operates in a way that means I can't win an imp, then
because it's weird because you can deploy the signal tower somewhere, sort of anywhere on the field or something. So you could put it over the prize, or you can put it in front of the prize, or all this sort of stuff just to be awkward. So
I mean, if you've got like an Azog on a white warg, 12 berserkers and some bats, you're either gonna, you can pretty much choose when you end the game, can't you? Because they can do very, very good things, or they can do very bad things. I think that's really fun. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's a cool idea.
Do we see what it segues into day 2 then?
Absolutely, we can. So day 1 we've got that. So worth noting the Red Alliance thing. I mean, it's not a big deal, is it? Because you've got 7 points of might, one of which is on Sharky, and Azog has Master of Battle because it's from the Azog's Legion. So
he is Red Alliance now. So
So that's a good question.
You don't get his army bonus because he's.
Is that from an army bonus? It must be an army bonus, so he doesn't get that day 1. But it's either way, it's still 7 points of might. He's got the Azog, he's got the thing. It's all very exciting, and he's got the only thing of the Red Alliance is, I suppose, if you kill Worm and Sharky, you've broken the army.
Sharky and Worm are going to be like in a cupboard for.
Well, I mean, you even if you put Sharky at the front casting some not at the front, obviously, but somewhere up there casting magic, Worm is so small and easy to hide. So and anyone who does come for them, there's a really quirky special rule that if no one else except the person that is fighting Worm can draw a line of sight to Worm, it becomes like 3 attacks and strength 4 or something stupid. So that's quite funny. So I'd like to see that happen. And
I am a sucker for any niche special rule that's very, infrequently used. That's very exciting. What does it turn into day 2? I'm guessing I'm not going to be.
Yeah, it's not really that exciting, is it? It's just swap 60 points worth of.
No, I can't. I can't like that.
No, it's much less cool now, isn't it? Fimble the Hunter's fine, obviously, and it kind of makes sense. He gains a lot for it, but it's putting Azog into the Contest of Champions with a line of Gundabad Berserkers, Warbats, and a banner.
That is ace. Whoever is bringing that has no excuse not to get it painted, as far as I can see.
I think it's already painted, actually. So I've seen pictures. So that's pretty cool start. Do let me know the comments.
Brilliant.
What you think of this? So Jamie,
are we putting these in tiers? Do we have a?
I don't know how. I have no idea how to do that. Leave that to the Golems gamers. They know what they're doing with the tier list. Although there's probably a website for it, isn't there? Tier list maker. Maybe I can do that in the background every so often. How do I do this? Make a template.
Well, that day 2 list has brought me to tears.
Hey, very good. Let's see if Golems gamers template is on here because I can steal it then. No, I can't. Oh well, I don't know how to do it, so I won't bother.
That's fine.
But
well, I'll give that like
how many Tims out of 10 for that list? 4 Tims out of 10 for the first one. I think it deserves a lot more.
Very excited, but when you dropped it into the 60 points, what can it really bring on day 2? That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, if it gets a special Sharky rule off, then brill.
Yes, I totally agree. I think it's all about the day 1.
Can you remind me before the end of this the really cool little orc thing that can steal things? Has anyone brought that?
I think someone has, but I don't think they're leaders. So I think there might be one. I may be wrong about that.
Great.
I vaguely remember reading about it, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong. There's certainly someone who's brought some new Angmar models.
Great.
So let's excuse me. So that was list 1. That was list 2. Let's just quickly delve into comments. Nathan says he's painting bases. Frederick says filth, absolute filth. Too right. Battle Camper says sorry I'm late. How's everyone doing? I'm doing well. I don't know how Tim's doing. You doing well?
Good, thanks. Good.
Yeah. Good. Alex, just to clarify what we're doing, we're running through some of the lists, a lot of the Imps, which, as you know, is a tournament that where your leader dies on day 1 and turns into...
Is the Battle Camper coming?
The Battle Camper has sent in his list and is due to attend, so we're very excited to see him. Nathan says, name and shame. Whose army is the Sharky and Azog list? We're not naming and shaming, but it is good fun to have a look through some of the quirky lists because I don't want people to feel like they're being unfairly victimized. So we're not.
There is no scrutiny of lists from a tactical choice. It's merely personal preference to what looks cool, and it's got to be at least like 30% cool to be talked about here.
Exactly. So 30% cool. I believe this is one of the ones that you requested me to
80% cool.
So this is actually, looking at, I don't know whether I've got the day 2 image, but I've got day 1, so I'll have to find the day 2. This is
look
that you
at
wanted.
that.
Yeah, I think this is kind of cool. What do you think? What do you think to this?
Yeah, thing of beauty. Absolute wonder there. Yeah,
I mean, see, you're very excited about this, but I'm not. I think this is pretty cool.
They've not. Is that Faramir, Captain of Gondor, without a lance?
Yeah, no, he's
an armored horse.
No armor. He's just Faramir on horse with bow with 7 Rangers of Gondor.
Is he going to segue into a Rangers of Ithilien day 2?
Let's find out. Yes, he is. Yes, so that's quite cool. I think that's good.
That's got hobbits. That could be in for a Freddo.
Yeah,
I like the Rangers of Ithilien. I like that. That's nice. I like it.
You know what? It successfully does super theme, and you know what? I think he really leans into. They really lean into the theme of the list being, the first date someone dies and is replaced by a thematically sensible leader. It is quite nice.
They know what they want day 2 and they've gone for it. And also, unless it's missing at the bottom, they've not put a Warrior of Menace Tirith with banner in, which would ruin it, but get you the VPs. Brilliant. I love it. And also, Faramir, Madril, Damrod, they will be the 3 new ones from the box, maybe, meaning someone has taken Damrod, and in my years of playing this game, I've never seen anyone deliberately choose to take.
You know what? I actually wondered when they submitted this list whether Damrod was an accident, whether they meant one of the other ones, because Damrod's 25 points, and I think a couple of the others are 30, and he's 5 points down here. So there's a small chance that he
I would be,
changes
because either of the other two are better, but there's better and there's better, isn't there?
Yeah. What are the other ones? I can't remember the call. I'm going to look at it now.
Mablung and Angborn, I think. One gets the 3 point of might for shooting and wounding and stuff on the shot, and one gets the bird songs where they can see stuff that's up and seen, which is, in my opinion, the cooler one, and the model's really ace. But
I
don't care. This is cool, and I will be very excited to see which Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol they've got.
Yes, that would be cool to see. Yeah, I've been keen on the lovely models. I didn't realize. I think Anborn and Mablung are both 35 points, so he couldn't have had them.
Yeah, but even so, look, they're 5 points short, and they've got 4 Rangers of Gondor without spear. This is pace.
Yeah,
they've got
4 points of
Rangers,
spear. Yeah.
They've got 8 Rangers of Gondor with spear, which is the amount you get in the box, and they've got the 3 models that come with the Osgiliath Doodah. Love it, brilliant.
I'd particularly love
got into the game properly by just buying a couple of boxes and making it cool. I'd
love to. I'm looking forward to seeing the conversion of the Faramir on horse as well, because Faramir Ranger on a horse is a lovely idea, and I have seen some really nice ones out there. So I wonder whether that's very nice. So that's cool.
That's brilliant, marvelous,
very good. Nathan says, "How's Mrs. Parkhill doing? Are you being told off daily?" Yes. No. She is still pregnant. We're very excited. It literally could happen any moment now. So I might get a shout halfway through the stream, have to cancel things, and head off to the hospital. Who knows? 2 weeks till due date, or just under. No, is that right? 28th. Yeah, no, it's 13 days till the due date, so very exciting. Alex says, very excited to be coming. Possibly the last event of the edition. It could be for many people, which is an excitement and a sadness. Wow. Likes the Faramir theme. RVWT Aranath list would be nice. Yeah, I don't think there are any of those. There are no Aranath leaders day 2. Rangers, interesting. Yes. At 550 points, Rangers used to be considered quite horrible, didn't they? So, but with the inclusion of the Hobbits and Smeagol, I feel like it's probably less of a horrible list to face, particularly in Contest of Champions. So
it's apparently the best list you can have Faramir in. It's not saying a lot.
That's true. So that's that for that one. I've got so many lists here that I'm going to just start clearing some out, because otherwise I'll lose track in my little window here. So what do we got? We've got so this one's another cool one. This is not displayed in the fancy way, so it's day 1 and day 2. But if I look carefully at it, I know it's a cool one, so I can't remember why I've given it. So here we go. Oh yeah, this is a good idea. This was Gorbag leader on day 1, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. And Mordor Troll Chieftain leading the Black Gates Open Legendary Legion on day number 2. I think what this does really both. It does 2 things that I really like. One is that it's utilised the fact that the Mordor Troll Chieftain is a hero of fortitude on day 2, but becomes, I believe, a hero of valor on day when he leads the Legendary Legion. So he's cleverly done that, which is smart, and also he just really leans into, let's have a big biffer to be my leader on day 2, and obviously swapping the Mouth of Sauron in instead of Gorbag is just really cool. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. 550 points. He's got,
and it does work as well day 2, doesn't it? Because you've 37 models at 550 points. You've got the Mega Troll as your leader. You've got Mouth to do the immobilize or whatever it does.
It's great.
Yeah,
and it fits. He's got Moran and Orc captains in there. It just feels like a Blackgate list, and also it doesn't feel wrong that Gorbag is the leader day 1. You could imagine him having a Troll Chieftain buddy kicking about, and then getting sort of smashed by Shagrat. Well, it wasn't smashed by Shagrat; he was smashed by Sam, wasn't he? And then the troll just sort of wandering off to the Blackgates and fighting in that area. So yeah, I really like that. I think that's a cool theme. It's a cool idea.
I like it. I like the mixture of the Morannons and the normal orcs as well.
I hadn't even spotted that.
There's some orc warriors with 2-handed picks as well.
Ooh, yeah, we've got 1 or 2 of them kicking about. That's great.
It's a good opportunity for some nice mixed models with some some decent work done there. I like that.
They're great. Yeah. So how many Tims out of 10?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
Tim, that's Tim out of 10. That's what I say.
The fact is, if you're getting talked about on here, you're already a winner, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's right.
I'm not going to differentiate between who's is the cooler.
Now, I believe you said you wanted to look at this one. I believe it's right. I think you said this one would be cool. It is a Thorin as leader, or maybe this is what you said you would take.
Oh no, this is the list that I would nearly have taken. So
right, okay.
When I was looking what I would have done,
from a competitive standpoint, I'm guessing.
Well, for kind of like that mix of modeling and coolness and having that segue from going down the timeline. So I like the idea of taking like the young Thorin and young Dwalin as like my lieutenant. I can't remember what it was. I think it was I was going to take something like a Thror. Could it be? Thror has got the grim hammers that can go strength 4, can't he?
Yes, Thror, and then maybe a young Thorin.
Something like Thror and some dudes with young Thorin and Dwalin, to then on day 2 go to like Mega Thorin and Mega Dwalin, and then add some stuff in their warp. I thought that was a really fun thing to do. So this looks very similar. I think Thorin Oakenshield, King Under the Mountain on a War Goat, is a real unit. I like that.
And alongside Dane is pretty spicy.
Dane's all right, but I think Thorin is one of my... for me, that young Thorin to older Thorin is a really fun day 1 to day 2 segue. And young Thorin, for me, does a lot of work. I think he's one of the few models I'll do a heroic challenge with.
And this is, of course, what they turn into on day 2. Erebor Reclaim.
Yeah.
So it's pretty obvious, I think.
Similar, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're just swapping out a Thorin for a... what's his face?
I'd go, day 9 foot on a Warboar as a unit for day 2. You know, it's nice, it's compact, it's tidy. War Goat's good fun. I would like more, Iron Heels Dwarves on goats or something like that. The Iron Heels Captain is a really good model, not model profile as well. But
I think for 550 points though, you've got 2 big hitters, so it's gonna be tricky.
Dwalin on a goat, 125 points, fantastic, and he is Dwalin. I mean, what a dude.
Oh, we've already had that one. Sorry. Yeah, totally agree. So that's one. So now I'm going to go to show you one of what I thought was one of the more curious lists. This is the Garrison of Dale.
Lovely.
I thought you were excited about this. So
I was, but a little bit of me has just died now, having seen it. Where's the wind lance? For goodness sake!
Lack of wind lance. Yes, there is a severe lack of wind lance. But I mean, looking
man alive, where is the wind lance?
Nobody should ever use the wind lance.
No, they should do. This is the event to bring the wind lance. You can't say that after having brought like 3 Mordor siege bows.
But Mordor siege bows are crap, and they're infinitely better than.
You need to bring the wind lance. You need that wind lance. Girion, Lord of Dale, fantastic leader. I bet these are absolutely beautiful. That's.
I'm really hopeful that they look beautiful. I'm sure they do. But obviously, Girion, day 1 leader, day 2 leader. Captain of Dale.
Yeah,
just loads of captains of Dale. What the hell's going on? I love it. I mean, in a contest of champions, you think, oh yeah, look at all these bows I've got. But yeah, they're just going to just line up and be absolutely smashed to bits. But I love the idea. Well, you know what? All I'm going to do is just get more Dale guys in there, and he's got a lot of models.
Why not? I mean, nip back to the day 1 one. Nip back to the day 1. Can we do that with the tech?
Yeah.
So the day 1 warband is what, like 130, 200, and
it's a lot of models.
You could have just said stuff it, couldn't you, and just added 4 more captains of
yeah, it's totally true. But I mean, going from 41 models to 39 models, but the thing you're losing is Girion and gaining 2 captains. So you've got 2 captains of Dale with the big. I assume the Escroft bows are the strength 3 ones, aren't they? So. There's a lot of bloody bows in there. 16 bows, all of them strength 3, so that's pretty nasty. It'd be good in the shooting scenario.
Bows? Are you allowed half your models bows with Dale?
I assume so. No. 16 bows, including the captains, because the 4 of them have got. So it'd be 12 bows from the captains, and then 4. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
When I saw the Girion at the beginning, I thought, wow, it's going to be Girion and the wind lance. One of his named doodahs, and it'll go into that daily Legendary Legion day 2, and that'd be really cool. Girion, props for that.
I think props for the captain of Dale. Frankly, I think this is just hilariously cool.
The fact that there was a sensible way to do this, and whoever's done this has just thought, "Fuck this."
Absolutely, squidge as many captains of Dale into there. Awesome stuff. So that is Girion day 2. Now that was one of my favourite ones. What are the other ones? I think you were intrigued by the one with Gandalf in. Yes, that's right. So this one was one that you were very excited by, I believe. It's look at that, it's big. It's taking the whole page. This is the Shire and Rangers. So it's Gandalf the Grey, -1 point for lack of cart, I would say, but still pretty cool. And Aragorn with the Flame of the West and 6 Rangers of the North. Not Dunedain, interestingly, but Rangers of the North, because I think you could get 5. You could get 175 points worth of 125 point Dunedain, couldn't you? And then give some of them some spears or something like that. But either way, that's pretty cool. So I'll take that. Very cool. What do you think to this, Timothy?
Why is the Gandalf the Grey in the Shire list?
Gandalf the Grey is allowed to be in the Shire list. He is I
know he's allowed in the Shire list. I'm just trying to think why they've got the Aragorn.
I think it's because it's Green Alliance, isn't it? So I think the Shire and the Rangers are the only Green Alliance for the Rangers.
I mean, there's a lot of things, in there. There's a lot of things that are very bad about this list, which makes it 8. It's like you think that goodness and badness is like a linear scale, but in reality, it's more like a horseshoe. And when you get so far down the badness, you actually come back out on the other side into goodness. So Gandalf, ace, no cart, bad.
Yeah, that's the only disappointment.
Aragorn, he's a bit bad. No elven cloak, very bad. No armor, bad. Rangers, no spear, bad. It's just.
Well, you see, this is why I like it so much.
But that means on day 2, it is going to segue into something absolutely. Oh!
Hold on, go on.
Because
So work this out. So what do you think this is going to
go? If somehow they got Gandalf the Grey to be not the leader, and then on day 2 he was upgraded to the cart, I'd be cheering from the rafters now.
Okay, so here's the thing. So Gandalf the Grey in the Shire is a hero of valor, and Gandalf the Grey is a hero of valor, and Aragorn is also a hero of valor. So who would you choose if you were thinking competitively to be your leader on day 1?
I can't think competitively.
No, but that's what I'm saying. And then assume that you. But then, Gandalf is I think the sort of obvious choice to be the leader on day 1, so that you can have Aragorn to be your big biffer in combat for day 2, right?
No, but if it was me, I would put Aragorn and his warband in the bin. Then I would turn Gandalf on the cart, and I'd go pure Fellowship because Gandalf is rock hard to kill, and I'd put Fellowship Boromir on a horse.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Let's put Fellowship Boromir on a horse. I mean, I'd use my cart. And I'd twist it 90 degrees with the blinding light, so it's really hard to shoot Boromir with his horse, and give Boromir loads of will with the magic-y thing.
Interesting thoughts. We'll drop your comments down below as to what you think that'll transition into. Have a quick look at the comments. We've got.
What does it transition into?
We'll get there in a second. We'll get there. I'll just do the comments first. Rangers are interesting. Fog of War gets fun for the Rangers. Yeah. Gorbag.
Is only Nathan watching?
No. There are like people out there. I think Nathan's the only one commenting mostly. But Fog of War gets fun. There are 30 people out there. Do let us know who you are and what you're doing. Nathan says Gorbag to Chieftain is fine, but I'd want Shagrat somewhere, which is fair. But Orc Warriors with 2 hand picks is brilliant. That's true. Julian Hammond's in the building. Greetings. Julian says, what made you pick Storm the Camp as a scenario for the tournament? And so I did add that in for the 7th game, essentially. And Tim, can you answer a reason why Storm the Camp is in there?
It's brilliant.
And that is your reason, Julian, because Tim thinks it's brilliant, but nobody else does. So it's partially because it never gets played.
If anyone were thinking of running a tournament over 2 days and picked on day 1 the 3 highest ranked scenarios from Longshanks, and on day 2 the 3 lowest ranked ones, that'd be a really good idea, I think.
It would. It would. It would. Julian says, because Harry is evil. That's not far off. Dom Lord, hello. Dom, you are, I think you were the late edition. You were on the reserve list, but welcome in. Running late with being at the pub, but excited to see all the lists. So we're not seeing all the lists, just to be clarified. We're just picking out a few of the ones that we thought looked amusing and intriguing. And
you can watch this at the pub using one of these things, a mobile telephone.
I assume that that's what he's doing. But Dom, it is worth saying that Gollum's gamers are going to do another stream in their usual manner, so they might look into some more of the data as well, with more lists, which will be coming up.
Are they going to invite one of us to go on as like the guest?
I think I was invited on, but I don't know when it is yet. So, in fact, I haven't, probably because I haven't sent them the list yet. So that'll be why. Excuse me, that was a hell of a burp. Nathan says Dale list for third place. Interesting. I know who's got the Dale list. So, based on what he's saying, Nathan says, I think that's not impossible, because the player is very good. So that's intriguing. So Battle Camper says, I'm watching, but also wrestling a restless dog. Nick Taylor says, Aragorn and the Army of the Dead. So this is the response to what we're saying, Gandalf the Grey going to Aragorn and the Army of the Dead. So the only thing with that is that he has the Rangers in his warband, so he couldn't do that, because you'd have to drop. I suppose you could have, I think you can in the, I don't know, I can't remember. And then Ewing says, I won a tournament on the Storm the Camp scenario, so I like it. I think I like it too, and that's why it's in there. So let's have a look. So we were looking at, where is it? Gandalf. Oh no, sorry. Boo. Aragorn and Gandalf, and then Gandalf and Halbarad, which is just awesome. So I just think this is ace, because obviously
it's got Gandalf in it.
Yeah,
who's going to be absolute dog crap at Contest of Champions.
Yeah,
it's got Halbrad in it, who is, I think he's mega brilliant. He's got a mega banner. Yeah. Again, he's got 9 rangers. Look at that, 9 rangers, and
so
none
3
of them
extra
got
rangers.
Spears.
Yeah.
So by dumping 1 ranger and putting a Duna down, what do you have to dump? 2 rangers, put Gandalf on a cart, and give the rest of the rangers some spears, and I would love it.
Yeah, think of the firework action you'd get. So, well, the thing is, I guess the spears probably aren't really worth it, because your army's going to be surrounded so quickly anyway that is it really, unless you've got a really good gap to line up into, and it's probably not going to actually work very well. But either way, I think top marks for this one, because the obvious choice, I would say, is for Gandalf to be leader on day 1, and then him to wander off, leaving Aragorn, Strider, and the a few additional rangers. Well, 170 points worth of extra rangers for day 2. But no, Gandalf is going to be leader.
This speaks to me of someone who's been before and is knowing what a potential bloodbath the Saturday night could be. This is a low brain power day 2.
Absolutely.
Get the games over quick. Have a little nap under the table list. I like this.
It's the thing. The thing is, it's Gandalf lining up in the middle, is he's not going to have much chance to do much magic, is he? He's
going to line up in the middle. He's going to cast Blinding Light, and then
he won't be casting Blinding Light in Contest of Champions. That'd be silliness.
He's going to cast Blinding Light, and those rangers are going to shoot their rubbish strength 2 bows, because as we know, they're the worst shooting model in the game, despite all the improvements I've suggested. He's going to enjoy. That is what I call a bitter 44-year-old man list, where you can just have endless discussions about why the Rangers are some of the worst models in the game.
Yes,
I like that.
He's brought it so he can complain about it on over lunch.
We all do. We
all do it. So great work there. Thank you very much for the Ranger person. They have brought me much joy. So that's good. So we only have one more list I wanted to have a look at this evening. I mean, there probably are other lists that I could quickly knock out and have a look, but I think this is one of the most interesting ones, and I can't remember which way round it goes. So let me just consult my spreadsheet before I.
Can we look at all the Gollum's Gamers lists and slag them off and tell them why they're suboptimal in very small?
No, absolutely not. Because 1, because I suspect they're probably quite optimal, and two, because that would not be in the spirit of this stream now, would it? So
Patreons only. Keep sending the money.
Yeah. Exactly. So yes, it's this one, which is super spicy. It's from the new book. It's the host of the Witch King. Ooh.
I haven't got the new book, so I know nothing
Well, I
about
shall
it.
tell you all about the new book. So, the host of the Witch. In fact, do I have it? Oh, I don't have it. I have my book. It's by my bedside table. The host of the Witch King. You basically get the Witch King of Angmar, but you can't have the hat. But it doesn't matter because you get rerolls for your casting and resisting anyway.
Yeah, you get
In fact,
like a free hat.
yeah. So the ring wraiths also get that bonus, which is pretty spicy, and you also get 3 attacks. And you don't lose will if you kill in combat or do something in combat. So it's very, very much sticking his oar into the Witch King's sort of success on the tabletop. So if you do really well with the Witch King, ace. If you do badly with the Witch King, it's all not very good.
But the Witch King is not losing will from fighting. It can just run around doing a lot of fighting, can't it? That's quite cool.
I suppose, yeah. So we're on 13 will, and if you've got rerolls, you don't really need to be spending much on your magic. So that's quite cool. The Tainted is also existing. So this is where it starts becoming more spicy for day 2, of course. So the Tainted's there. And also the Shadow of Rudaur. So this is
the one. That is the one that looks remarkably like a Herald of the Dead without the banner, without the pennant, isn't it? I like that.
Yeah. Or I think it's just one of the coolest new models that they've got. I mean, a lot of people seem to really have been picking this model up. So it's really cool though. I like what they've done with it. Is a lot of Angmar orcs, of course. It's very heavily reliant on Angmar orcs doing work. There's actually quite. I don't know whether I'm right in here thinking that 32 models feels quite low. You've got 3 casters.
Do the warbands led by a spirit still get the old cause terror?
Yes. In fact, it might even. I think it's 6 inches now.
Right. So it's basically old Angmar, but like better.
Yes, essentially. Although, of course, you're restricting your casters. I don't think you're allowed Barrow Whites in this one.
But you've got like a mega Barrow White.
Yeah.
A mega. Yeah, it's quite cool, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice to see what it does. I think that's quite ace.
I think it's good.
I don't know whether it's ace. It's got a cool new Shadow of Rudaur model, which is brill, and some new rules and stuff, which is always nice to see. We've been whinging for ages that we haven't had any new stuff, and now some new stuff. So
yeah, exactly. Embrace it. Embrace it. That's what I say. The day number 2 list is led by the Tainted. So that's kind of cool. So the Tainted.
Oh look! Oh! Yes.
You've seen it. You spotted the excitement down the bottom. So the Tainted is cool.
All the new stuff, then, isn't it? Then.
Yeah. So we've got a werewolf, a hill troll, 2 warriors of Karn with spear, 7 orc warriors added there, and an Angmar orc captain. So I can't remember the restrictions. So it must be that you can't have it. We've had all the 3 heroes. Oh no, that's wrong because you could have added anything because it's just pure Angmar. But either way, you've got the Tainted as a leader, and I think there's something cool about the Tainted that if you don't wound it in combat or everything it's in base contact with takes a wound or something like that.
Wound on a 6 or something like that.
Yeah, so that's quite cool for contest. And
you've also the Tainted, I think, is one of the best looking.
It's this kind of spooky. I don't know. I can't imitate it, but it's got the kind of spooky look. It looks properly ring wraithy. It's very cool. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how this one does actually, because there's actually not an awful lot of new Arnor stuff at the tournament. We mentioned there was an Aranath. What else was there? There was. Let me have a look down me quickly. Rustle down the list. We've got an Arnor model, so we've got an Aranath and an Arvidui Legion on day 1. Well, so. What is it? Just pure Arnor day 1, and then the Arnor Legendary Legion day 2 we've got. So that's quite cool.
It's very exciting because the werewolf models I've seen now, and they look very nice. Although, I'd have to sell my remaining kidney to get some. Models. I don't think we have models for those.
They're not out yet. So hopefully this person is aware that they might not be out in time for the event, but I'm sure a proxy might be available.
Unless they've got special access.
Ooh, maybe. I don't think so.
And also those Karn Doom models, which I think look like an absolute sack of shit. But,
you know what? It's funny because I thought that at first, and then I read the book and I was like, actually, I really like this list. And I really like the Legion. And as soon as I started looking into it, I thought, you know what, these are quite cool. And I'm now, they're the thing that I now want out of all of it. And I kind of want to build a Karn Doom army. And because they've got this.
Normally, I would look at those Karn Doom and I'd go, well, they're crap. I've got to have them. But at the same time, they're crap. and the models look like sort of Catachan jungle fighters from 1994. And they're going to look like 8'6" compared to a Warrior of Minas Tirith.
Well, I suddenly like them, and I don't think it's a competitive legion, but I do like the idea that their leader gets like a +1 fight if it's killed something the previous turn, and also gets to do a free heroic combat if it's killed something, something like that. There's some really cool thing. It's like, that means you can get a fight
that's
6
more
guy
exciting
with heroic
than like
combat.
that's more exciting than a 3-inch bubble effect, which is very
exactly
boring.
Yeah. So I think that's quite cool. So I would like to see that in action. But yeah, sorry. So the things where there is Arathorn's Last Stand, we've got, that's quite cool. So we're going to see a bit of Arathorn action over the course of the weekend. What was the other list that was from the book? We've got the Angmar. We've got a Birder kicking about, but it's just pure Angmar rather than the Birder Legion.
And we've definitely got one of the things that steals things. Is that right?
I don't know. I can't remember. I believe we might have one, but we only don't have very many Angmars. But who knows? Who knows? If whoever this is who has this Angmar Orc captain on day 2, it's that one, isn't it? If they want to trade Angmar Orc captain for the guy who steals stuff, they are most welcome to do that in order to allow the Yoink Orc his shiny day stealing things.
Oh,
I would love to see
they're going to do that now, and they're going to win, and the rage is going to be.
Wouldn't it be delightful if they did?
Where's my arm gone? There we go. There's the rage. There's the rage. It's palpable, high level.
You know what? This is the sort of thing. It's close enough to the day that I gave someone Haldir, a free Haldir with their Legion in order to improve their list on day 2, and Jamie Wiggins lost his mind.
It's the stuff of legend, but he keeps coming back for more. So
he does. He loves it. He loves it. He's here every year, and he does a great thing. So there we go. So that was that. There's a couple more bits and bobs. Evening, guys. Watching this while I build some werewolves. Oh, that's cool. Greetings, Josh. I can't remember whether you're on the list, actually. I feel like we did have a Josh Coles. I can't remember. Or something. Ewing has the book, and what do you want to know? Yeah, what do you want to know, Tim? What would you like to know?
I don't really want to know.
There you go. We don't know. That's fine. Julian says, is that Jamie's list? We can't possibly reveal that, but no.
I don't even know who any of these lists are. It's all...
No. Sam Palmer says, looks like an excellent list. Yeah, I think you're right. Battle Camper says they're cool. They need sunglasses and bandanas for that. I'm not quite sure what.
That's for the Catachan Jungle Fighter vibe,
yes.
I think.
Love it. What? Tim, says Ewing. Ewing, anyway,
like a live Tim feed. This
it is. There's a lot of Tim love there. So there we go. I mean that's, excuse me, that's kind of it for what I wanted to go through, because as I said, the Golems gamers will go through with a fine-tooth comb to all of the well, not all of the lists, but they'll choose a few, I assume, and perhaps choose their favorites and also their own to go through that. So maybe I'll appear on their channel at some point in the next couple of weeks, which will be very exciting. Or Tim, maybe. I think it'll be me, because they've already asked me.
It's because I've got all the prizes.
Yes, they make you invisible. You literally put your prize up to the screen and it makes you invisible at the ring.
Those who know about the prizes know I've got the prizes. So.
Exactly. But yeah, so I guess a little housekeeping for anyone who's attending the event. Please, if you haven't already filled in the food form, please do. There's a food form that's been posted on the Facebook page and sent out via email. And among it are what you would like for food. On day 1 and day 2. There's also a query about whether you want to attend a quiz or not, and also check at your preferences for ales and ciders and fizzy drinks and energy drinks and chocolate crisps and fruit as for the snack bar options, because I would like to not waste a load of chocolate, because at the end of Tis a Gathering I had so much chocolate to eat. I've only just finished the packs of chocolate that I had. So yeah, so please do fill all that in. Go on, what you can say, Tim.
Other admin, or have you finished the admin?
No, well, yeah, Longshanks, is that what you're going to say?
Longshanks, get on the Longshanks. If you're not on the Longshanks the week before, and I know you've got a Longshanks, I will add you to the Longshanks because I'm not doing it all in the morning. Secondly, don't forget to actually, turn up. That's quite important.
Yeah,
if you're not going to turn up, if like stuff has happened like 2 or 3 days before, or you really haven't even started painting your stuff now and you're just going along with it for the ride, like, actually say words, because we can lend models or sort stuff out or sort problems out if we actually know that they're going on.
And another thing, please remember to bring your army, Luke Hilder, if you're watching.
It's fine. We can accommodate like loads and loads of stuff if we know. And so for people who are getting in, I know a few people are coming in by train and things like that. Just say words and I will come down and pick you up from the train station and take you up the hill. But like, don't leave stuff like sorting your accommodation out the day before, or you will be sleeping on a bench.
And it's been known to happen.
I've got a room booked, and I will sell it to you for like an absolute filthy fortune. But in reality, just send me a message on the Facebook or whatever, and I'll make sure that you're not left at the middle of Lincoln Station or a lay-by somewhere. But the more information we have about stuff that you need us to help you with, the more help we can give before, like the day before.
And just finally, I suppose, Tim, you're obviously going to be overseeing a lot of stuff. Will Champion, who couldn't be on the stream tonight because he's working, he also will be there doing the sort of TO judging, so Tim doesn't have to get involved in the stressful bits. And Jack will also be there, Jack Darlington, who also couldn't be here. He was going to be here, and then I believe he stood on a wasp just slightly before the stream began, which is a slightly disturbing set of circumstances. But yeah, that was quite a grim. I think he was having a bit of an evening, and it was topped off by standing on a wasp, which is pretty shocking. So apologies that Jack couldn't be here, but he will be behind the bar for the entirety of the tournament, having a good lol and looking at painting and judging, sorting out the painting competition, all that sort of stuff. And I will be hopefully there and maybe not there. Who knows? Nathan says, now this I'm actually quite annoyed by. Nathan says he's driving both days, buy less beer. No, stay with Tim, buy more beer. What are you talking about?
Well, it's strange actually. So my child, as I've mentioned before, my child is coming.
Yes.
So at the moment, I've got a room for me because he is a child. So he's going to have.
Isn't he like 17 though?
Yeah, but he can't come out. He can't come out to like Sugar Cubes with us or like for karaoke or whatever.
I don't know. When I was 17, I was out.
He might
not want to go out with his dad though. To be fair.
If he is watching, Frank, go to bed because it's past your bedtime now. But yeah, so why on earth is Nathan driving back? Madness.
Yeah. Come on, Nathan.
If anyone else is looking for a room and wants to share, there's an option there to get in and get something with Nathan. I think.
Yeah. In all seriousness,
driving back both days will cost him a fortune in petrol.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a message, Nathan, because we can sort that out. Surely there'll be someone there. Obviously, if there's other reasons for driving both days, then fair enough. But I mean, I will need to buy one fewer keg if you don't turn up, because
that's the profit. That is the profit.
That you're basically single-handedly saying I'm not going to profit anything off the bar. Not that I ever make much profit off the bar anyway. But there you go. £2.50 pints, and there's homebrew. 2 homebrews this time. Last time I made 1 homebrew and it sold out quickly, so I'm going to do the same this time. There we go. So let's have a look at the some of the other things. Ewing says that
the Danish subtitles will be another day. I think I'm saving it all up for the national anthem in February.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but Nick Taylor says shameful Galadrim now have painted spears. Oh, that's good. So you're getting there with your painting, Nick. Good stuff. Nathan says I hope the change to Steely upsets Mr. Wiggins by stealing something off him. Yes, I totally agree. That would be literally the best result out of all of this. So there you go. Tim for president, Alex for VP, and Harry for chief imp. That's good. I'll take that. Vice president, chief imp. So hold on. Tim gets the role of president, Alex gets vice president, and I get chief imp. I mean, they're not. That's not the same, is it? That chief imp, that is far worse than being the vice president or the president. You need to sort yourself out, David. Enough words. Nathan says, "Oh no, they've already had that." Looking forward to it, says James Wilson. I didn't see you pop in originally, so maybe you just dipped in later in the show.
He's definitely coming. I'm sure
he's definitely coming. But I mean, in terms of the stream this evening. In fact, James, I struggled to send you an email earlier. Hopefully, it did arrive eventually, because It's the one that you sent me your list on, so I don't know why it didn't work when I sent it back. Jamie says, my list is based around models that were gathering dust, so Goblin Gamers won't be taking too long over my lists. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Goblin Gamers.
Goblin Gamers, yeah, Goblin Gamers. I think it is Goblin Gamers. But anyway, there you go. So I think that's pretty much it for this evening. I hope that's given you a bit of an hour and a bit of sort of mild distraction while you paint your lists. Nick Taylor, Harry says, for Harry for Lord High Executioner. That's more like it. I'll take that. And James got it in the end. So excellent, brilliant. And so I think that's it. So please do what we told you earlier and send in lists and fill in the forms and all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of it. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add, Tim, before we say our farewells?
Don't think so. Get on the Longshanks.
Get on the Longshanks, yeah. Battle Camper says he'd be on serving that in administration as well. Lovely. All the power for Team Denmark, which Tim is a part of. Indeed. Thanks very much, everyone, for watching and joining us this evening. If you're coming to Lord of the Imps, thanks very much. And hopefully I'll see you in just under 2 weeks' time. If you bring your terrain, come on the Friday night or very early on the Saturday morning. And if not, I will see you there. Cheerio, pip pip, and boo-rah rum. Bye.